Good.
All right, welcome to KMS Brews-Episode 12, Thanksgiving special. I don't know why it's special, but we're going to find out. I'm sitting here with Minifan Kim Jong-un, Kirk's Desk, Poppy, Shank, myself, Cameo, Blind Mike. Cheers again, another episode. So, guys, my favorite holiday is coming up. It's one of my favorite weeks.
Kwanzaa?
We're talking about food. Yeah, no, Kwanzaa's in a month. We're talking about food. We're talking about fucking great beer. Family. Friends. You know, not too many. Make sure it's not more than 10. All right? But today, what are we doing? What are we drinking? We'll start with Minifan Kim Jong-un. Go ahead, baby.
I am today, in honor of Thanksgiving. Normally, I would go out this week to Treehouse to get beers for Thanksgiving. I've heard from everybody that it's like a 3-hour wait the past couple days, so probably not going to do that. But I'm doing double shot with vanilla bean. I love double shot. I love the vanilla bean variant. So that's what I'm going with today. It's one of my favorites.
Did you have that last week?
No, I had Paragon. I had the Paragon.
You've had double shot already on the show.
Yes,
like
double shot
Paragon,
which is the espresso. This is double shot vanilla bean.
He has it running through his veins. Kirk's Desk. There you go, man. He's got some sass. What do you got, man? What kind of double shot you got?
I'm going with some Trillium today. So I am actually going with, I'm very thankful, Marshall Wharf Ace-Hole. So this brewery has been around for a while. Then they closed shop about a couple of years ago now. They're up in Belfast. And this is since I've been on Untapped since 2012. This is the beer I've drank more than any other beer, and I haven't had it for 2 years. Wow. And so I found this today, so I'm very thankful for that. It's I love this beer. It's an American Pale Ale, but the main reason I love it is it has Sriracha hops as the main hop, with a little bit of with some Citra as well. So it is very kind of tropical with the Sriracha, and it's a little bitter on the end, which is fine for me. But I love this beer, and I'm so happy to finally see it back after 2 years.
Jess, so do you have any background on that and why they closed or anything? My buddy, such a big Maine fan. He's always like hiking up there and stuff. And I remember he brought me a couple of 4-packs once, and I was blown away. So do you know any of the story? Or
man, I can't remember. I think there's some financial issue with it as well. But there was also the brewery is right on the water, and it would flood. I think it flooded once or twice as well, so they'd have to like fix that as well. And I think it became a financial issue that they couldn't deal with. And then there's a restaurant that goes with it, and so somebody bought it a year and ago, and they built it back up. First batches came out of everything this week.
Very cool. I'll be on the lookout. Nice. Thank you so much for telling me that. That sounded kind of weird. All right, Shank, go ahead. Thanks.
So I got a Spencer Trappist Holiday Ale. Trappist beers are beers brewed by monks. So it's just kind of cool when you can find something different. So this one here, 9%, a little on the stronger side. You get some good flavor of like caramel, a little bready, and some like nutmeg. So it adds a little bit of spice to it. But yeah, really nice, like Thanksgiving, Christmas type of beer.
Very cool. What's the price on that? Oh, go ahead, Kim.
I would say I just want to let you guys. I looked it up why they closed, and according to the Marshall Wharf, according to the Bangor Daily News, climate change forced the brewery to close because of flooding. That's what the Bangor Daily News said. So blame climate change, boys.
I think that's a whole other episode. That sounds ridiculous.
I want to interject in everybody's beer today, I guess. So for you, Shank.
Go ahead.
So, I'm a big Trappist fan. I love the Belgian beers and all those. I've been to most of the Belgian Trappist breweries over that you can at least go to, or at least I stood in front of them and took a picture. You can't actually go around there and drink. But then you all know pretty things. It used to be in Somerville, unfortunately. So they moved over to England, and now they're the brewery of the St. Mars of the Desert. So Beers of Mod, and they actually just yesterday put out a series of Abbey beers. So they have a single, a double, and a quadruple. So I keep seeing them come across my feed. I'm like, I wish I could get those because Pretty Things always made such great beers.
Desk, send that out either on Twitter or if, like, send us in the group. If you could send us any of that info, that's awesome. I want to check that out.
Yeah.
Sweet. So one more question, Shank. How much was that? What is it? A 4-pack, a 6-pack, and how much?
Yeah, so it was a 4-pack of the bottles. I think it was roughly $13, $14. So nothing crazy.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, especially for, like I said, 9% beer. And these aren't ones that you can kind of crush. So, you kind of sip it for a little while. But yeah, not too bad.
Sweet. What about you, Poppy? What do you got?
So right now I'm starting off with a Labatt Blue. I love Labatt Blues. And then I'm moving into Eternity by Treehouse, which is a barrel-blended imperial milk stout with chocolate, coffee, and maple syrup. So
did Kim do that?
No, I have 3 of them in my fridge right now. I've yet to crack them.
Very nice.
So I have a question for Desk. When you're talking about like the Saint Mars thing, does that have anything to do with like beer de Mars?
I don't think so. I don't know where their name came from. But I don't think it has anything to do with Beer de Mars.
I have a couple Beer de Mars, from Hell Farmstead called Beer de Norma. That's very good. So wasn't sure it was associated, but those are phenomenal beers.
No.
Very cool. So I'm drinking a Tank 7 by Boulevard. Look at that pillowy head.
Ooh.
I'm drinking out of a other half test tube glass, which usually should be for Pilsners, but whatever. I mean, this is old school. I mean, I got into the Belgian game a little later, but one of the ones that got me into it was Tank 7. It was pretty readily available, decent price. ABV was boosted, but so smooth. This thing is fucking good. It's light. It's got a nice breadiness to it. You get the hops decently, a good lemon, and a little bit of clove, but 8.5%. It just fucking. I mean, look at that. The head's just standing there.
Yeah,
on the nose, everything.
Is it the first time we're drinking a saison on the show?
Might be.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Cheers.
Might be. Yeah, I love saisons.
Wow.
So yeah, we have Thanksgiving. I don't know when this is going to air, but right around then, I'm sure we all have some good memories. I wanted to grab that Mayflower Thanksgiving Ale, and they didn't have it at the fucking store.
It's impossible to find. I can't.
Oh, really? So
yeah, I couldn't find it either.
Really?
Case is here. Case is here.
No, fucking Maine, of course. Nobody.
It was so freaking good. I loved it.
It's good. I know.
So good.
So I went to like the little Mayflower section. I'm like, fuck off. So I'm to try to like search around a little bit.
I actually have like a 5-year-old bottle of Mayflower Thanksgiving Ale that I'm probably gonna be cracking this year. So it should be interesting to see how it turns out.
Ooh.
Little science experiment.
So one of my biggest Thanksgiving memories is I bought a really cheap kegerator from a buddy for like $50. Such a good deal. I still have it. So I bought a half barrel, or it might have been a full barrel of half barrel would be the one that has like 150 beers of Celebration, Sierra Nevada, which we've talked about before. And then I did a Founders All Day IPA. My God, what a Thanksgiving. Everybody was just going to the keg, pouring. Oh, what a great time. I fucking love Thanksgiving. What do you guys think? What is your favorite memory beer? Go around. Who do you got? Kim, what do you think? Anything?
So Thanksgiving is by far my favorite holiday of all. But for me, it usually would start on Tuesday. Like after college, me and my friends on Tuesdays, when we come out, we'd go to trivia night at a bar in our hometown. And then on Wednesday, we'd all cut out of work and start drinking basically at noon at Lewis's in Norwood. And we get OVCs and the Lewis burgers and just continue drinking until, we needed to take a cab or get someone to come pick us up to go home. And then just continue drinking the next day. And normally on Thanksgiving, like I said, I would try to load up on certain beers. It's always been stouts for me. And then, one of the greatest things about Thanksgiving, too, of the craft world is on Black Friday, and we can talk about this a little bit later, but you have Bourbon County. So a lot of times I'd save at least one Bourbon County from the previous year, drink it on Thanksgiving, and then go pick up some the next day. But it's my favorite holiday. I like to drink, and it's just like it's a full week of drinking, turkey, stuffing, and then, that Friday when you're really hungover and having a Thanksgiving sandwich, it's like my favorite thing in the world.
Can you sing some Madonna Holiday for me, Clay, by the way?
Some what?
Madonna Holiday.
Oh, God.
Holiday.
We're not going to mention his name again, but I think that's
Snail
Blind Mike
Gray.
Sneaker's favorite Madonna song. Is he said that in
Oh,
Discord
you-
before.
Oh,
I'm gonna get it edited out again.
mute.
Uh-oh. I think Cameo is stuck.
All right, so I'll go next. I absolutely love Thanksgiving. My birthday falls on Thanksgiving like every couple of years. This
Happy
year
birthday.
it's tomorrow. So I completely forgot about Black Friday and BCBS, Bourbon County Barreled Stout. Yeah, BCBS. I fucking love that beer. Like you can buy it every single year. You drink one. They're pretty much good for up to like 5 years. You crack one, you sell a couple, you open one from a couple of years ago. It's an awesome tradition. Stouts, Thanksgiving. I don't know. Kim really described it perfectly, but it's the best holiday. This run from like Halloween until Christmas is like the best fucking time of the year.
Am I back?
You are back.
We're back.
Oh, thank God. Told my wife to stop watching videos. All right, go. So I'm sorry, I might have missed a little bit. So who's going? Kirk, Desk, did you talk about anything or what?
I haven't
Eric
talked about
Poppy?
anything yet. Yeah,
No, nothing at all.
No, yeah, I haven't gotten this. My turn's next. I'm not the biggest holiday guy because I'm an old curmudgeon, and so it's usually like some sort of argument between somebody. So I enjoy on Thanksgiving. I get up and I usually have a Sebago Brewing barley wine, the previous year's vintage, at about 9 a.m. So
Nice.
sometimes it's putting up the Christmas lights on the roof. The wife puts the lights up. I just watch. So, but I usually have that. So that's my favorite thing for Thanksgiving. And then the next day, Allagash would always have something going on. And for a few years, it was all their Allagash black beers or dark beers. And they haven't done that for a couple of years because I remember they actually told me, they said, well, we would have it. And then people would come in and they get, you get the free sampler of 4 beers at Allagash in the years past. Now people would just leave them there and not drink them, and they would just be wasting all this beer. And I'm like, God,
Fuck that.
So I miss that, but
So
that's my Thanksgiving.
Does your rejecting American holidays have anything to do with you becoming Islamic that you were trying to do in the past? Is it something? Does it stem off of that? Because we heard a rumor.
Yeah. No, I did have my Islamic phase a few years back, and I did send Steve a message from Kirk's Muslim desk regarding the Saudi Arabia trip, and I had it all in Arabic and everything, and but I translated it for him as well. But he did not respond back to me, of course.
Why would he? He's very busy.
So no, that's not why I'm just a cranky person. That's it.
Sure. Shank, what about you, man?
Yeah, so I think Thanksgiving is the best day of the year. You wake up and pretty much football is on right away. You already have the house smelling like turkey and great food, and it gives you an excuse to start drinking, at 10 o'clock. And, depending on what you do for work, if you have the next day off, you don't have to worry about slowing down at any point. You can just keep muscling through. Then you get to eat, and you fall into that food coma later on, and it's just it's fantastic. It is unbelievable day. It's definitely my favorite holiday of the year.
Do you any of you have Italian family members like me? Because we do the Italian Thanksgiving, so we eat early. So turkey is usually around between noon and 2, and then around 5 or 6, then we get the baked ziti, the stuffed shells, the lasagna. It is phenomenal. I mean, literally you're full for days, but it's just the Italian Thanksgiving is the way to go. And that's, marrying an Italian woman, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Nice. Yeah, Robot was talking about that too in Discord.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's the best thing in the world to just eat, drink, and fall asleep and repeat. Poppy, what do you think of that eternity?
It's fucking delicious, man. So I completely get a lot of the hate the Treehouse has gotten in regards to some things, but they kill it in the stout game. They kill it.
Oh yeah.
All their stouts, canned stouts, single shots, double shots, triple shots, imperial stouts, milk stouts, all of it. I think it's just incredibly impressive. And I'm hard to impress in that sense, stout wise. So I don't know. Trios to me is just fucking doing killer stouts. I remember I was kind of talking a little bit about it when you were timed out for a second, but my birthday falls on Thanksgiving, pretty much a day before, day after, or on it, every couple of years. So I also like Kim. I love going to Treehouse, getting some stouts for the holiday. But Shank, Kim said it. It's the best holiday of the year. It just you can't beat it, man. Being around family, just having football on, leftovers, beers. It's Christmas and Thanksgiving are the two best days of the year for me. So
hey, my Thanksgiving is next week too, Poppy. Happy birthday, bud.
Yeah, cheers.
To Poppy, to your point, we were talking about this before you got on earlier. What I love about Trio Stouts is they're always like perfectly balanced, like from the front end to the back end. Like I was drinking this Mighty Squirrel Velvet Moon before you got on, and it's a mocha stout. It's a coffee, mocha stout with chocolate. At the beginning, it tasted great, but then all of a sudden, as Cameo was saying, is this back of the tongue taste of like it just got bitter and gross. This double shot from Treehouse, it's from the moment it touches, my lips to down my throat, it is phenomenal. Like it's oh god, that sounded really bad. But anyways, no, it's like perfectly balanced. And like the Paragon is my favorite one out of all the variants for double shot, which I did desk have in a previous episode. But like every time they do a stout, and I have the other one, the Fleeting, the one that tastes like maybe, I have that in my fridge. I was going to do that today, but I'm saving that for Thanksgiving, that 4-pack. That tastes like French toast, and it's phenomenal. Like every single thing that they do on the stouts, it's just they're well balanced. They from the front end to the back end, it's just they do a phenomenal job when it comes to stouts.
And they're unique too. The only problem I have with Treehouse is that a lot of their IPAs taste very undistinguishable. They have the same kind of hop profiles, same kind of like yeast profiles. But the stouts are all super unique and they blow me away. So yeah, I wish Jay was here to say the whatever he says, the jolliest time of the year, whatever. But I don't know. I love the shit.
So Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, right? Big beer drop always by one, a controversial brewery, Goose Island. But I have the Bourbon County Stout lineup in hand, so we're going to talk about it. So obviously we have the OG Bourbon County Stout, which I'm going to go for. It's still around. It's $13 at a local store. I can grab it. The next one, Bourbon County Kentucky Fog Stout. They're using, for the first time, a blend of Earl Grey and black tea. Which I don't know. What do you guys feel about that? Earl Grey and black tea and that stout.
So it'll be interesting with the stout. One of my favorite beers is actually an Earl Grey. I'm not sure if I had it on the episode. Gunnamata from Yeasty Boys, and so it's a IPA with Earl Grey tea. But a stout without Earl Grey tea, that should be interesting. I think I'll be giving a unique twist.
Yeah, so Poppy ran off to swing his big Bourbon County secondary dick over here. But what we're talking about is Kentucky Fog Stout this year is coming out with Earl Grey tea and black tea. And then the next one I have is Bourbon County Special number 4, which I think is going to be their coffee variant this year. It's called an Oatmeal Coffee. So I'm really interested in that. I love oatmeal stouts. I love the creaminess that oatmeal gives to a beer and just really airy. I love that. Then the next one is the Caramelised Ale, if I'm saying that correctly. It's a wheat wine variant. So, I'll have to see how that is. Usually those are hit or miss. The Proprietors, which is the coconut, which everybody knows. The Birthday Bourbon County Stout. Ooh. It's an Old Forester's aged beer, which I love Old Forester as a bourbon. What do you guys think? You like Old Forester?
Yeah, they do a birthday bourbon every year, or I forget the exact name,
that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, those barrels.
Right.
It's
my wife was talking to me.
It's very good. They also release a very affordable, like $20, just regular bourbon too. You can find a Wegmans anywhere. It's also very solid.
And this is the pièce de résistance, shall we say, anniversary Bourbon County Stout. It's going to be aged in Weller 12 barrels, 4 or 5, typically aged 4 or 5 year barrel. Though I fucking love Weller.
I'm taking a shot of Weller 12 for that.
Oh, of course you are. What the fuck? This fucking guy.
So do
That's
all
how he
these
keeps all of his beer and alcohol in his bedroom.
do all these
Is that
variants
better?
come to Massachusetts?
The proprietors you can only get in Chicago.
Or do all the
I mean,
other
I don't
ones?
know how they're going to do it.
Because here in Maine, we usually get like the basic, and then we get like 2 variants, and that's usually about it.
So we talked. We were talking about this last week. So back in the day, the people that were with Goose Island at the beginning, they would give them all the variants. But when InBev bought them, they basically went to their large liquor stores that were buying a shit ton of Bud Light, and they gave them access to all of them. So a lot of the smaller guys, you're right, Des, they'll only get 1 or 2 variants, and they won't get everything. So basically, you have to be 1 or 2 things. One of the original, Goose Island, beer stores that were with them from the beginning and buy Bud Light, or just a massive Bud Light, liquor store like a Total Wine or something.
a legacy customer,
Yeah.
people who sell their legacy brands in large amounts. Yeah, the
Yeah,
same thing
usually
happens for so I associate whiskey also with Thanksgiving. All the Pappy drops, the Buffalo Trace Antique drops, all the limited whiskey. Generally, it's the same kind of time. And the way that they determine if your store is eligible to get bottles of Pappy or get bottles of Eagle Rare or George T. Stagg, whatever, is based on how much of their other shit that you sell. So, be it Bud Light selling BCBS, or be it getting Pappy because of how much regular Blandins and all that whatever stuff you sell. It's all like Kim is saying. It's all based on your sales of their inferior products.
And the employees are probably keeping a couple of these, so it's all bullshit.
Like the sketchy stores, like the Indian Metro Marts do that, but like the ones that really care about their customers don't do that.
Cut that out. IJ.
You can tell
Yeah.
Poppy's originally from New York. You can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. There's a lot of people that do that as well. I mean, it is what it is. It's the supply and demand. So I could see it happening.
Well, on this topic, when I lived in Braintree, I go to Curtis Liquors all the time, to the point where anytime that they got a rare beer, I was one of those few people that it was for me. I could show up whenever I wanted, and they were holding them for me in the back. So, I mean, that sketchiness, it does. I mean, Julio's tries to do that stupid card where if you punch enough, it is stupid. If you do enough of that card, then you can get on the list to get their special beers. If you're just a good enough customer and they know you well enough and you're in there all the time, I don't know, it feels like it's a better way to do it than that stupid card. I know Poppy like Julio's side. I'm not Julio's is in my mind a shit show. Anyone who gets better than Edelman suck.
You're actually
you're
bringing up a great topic, and it's that how do you fairly distribute products that everyone wants? Be it all these PS5s or whatever's hot in the market. It's whiskey every year, so I like having a fair and meritable approach to that kind of stuff. Just being oh, you spent $25,000 in the store this year, so I'm gonna give it to you for free, whatever. I don't know. I like having a fair and transparent approach to everything that's allocated. So I don't know.
Des, do you guys get that in Maine at all?
Yeah, so it's very interesting in Maine because we have the state liquor commission that controls everything in Maine.
Yeah.
So I get the email, once a year that says, okay, this is what's coming in. These are the rare ones you can get on. You can get into the raffle, the lottery, to try to win it. Of course, if you win it, you have to pay for it, of course. But so I've signed up for every single one, each year, and I've never won anything, but
Sure.
Yeah, that's how they do it here. So they won't, I don't think they just send it to stores, and the only people who can get it in the stores are ones who then distribute to restaurants, and they can get it to the restaurants, but you can't get it as a person unless you're on this lottery.
I mean, I don't mind a raffle, a lottery. The stores around here will do $5 a head to get in. You get a raffle ticket, blah, blah, blah. I don't mind that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I hate the stores where you're walking in, and you see, 10-year RVW over at Finn will go for $700.
Yeah, that pisses me off. I agree with you with CBM perfectly. The people that just take it and just gouge it to whatever they want, that annoys me. People that'll sell it and they're banking on long-term business and long-term brand trust. That's way better approach.
I mean, how many times have you actually seen those bourbons at retail? Because there's one place I saw at retail in Chatham one time, but
it's only a raffle. Only raffles.
It's always like extremely marked up.
If they're at retail, it's only raffles.
This was retail.
Anytime, yeah.
Every bottle I have is retail.
I can get Weller 12 at retail. I can get Wellers at retail. I get the full proof store pick.
That's a great bottle. You could flip that for 8 times what you paid for it.
If you buy it for $60, it sells for like whatever.
300 plus.
Let me ask you guys a super question for the bourbon guys here. What's your everyday bourbon?
Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare, Old Forester, Stag Junior when I can get it.
I don't know. I like Four Roses for like an everyday kind of thing. I'm not really an everyday bourbon drinker. What I do is I just collect the nicer stuff and have like very small amounts at a time.
If you want something regularly that's cheap, Eagle Rare is the best.
See,
I've never seen it for more than $40.
Yeah, so Eagle Rare it's a 10-year bourbon. That's like pretty much like $30 to $35. So CBM's right. Yeah. It's a great deal.
See, I think bourbon's two things. Like you can either drink bourbon on the rocks, neat, by itself, or my favorite drink in the world is a Manhattan. And I love Manhattans more than anything. So for Manhattans, I have handles of Makers or Woodford for my Manhattans. But then
I would do Four Roses. You can get four. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I say then for like out of the glass, then I go to something a little bit better, a little more money if it's just gonna be straight or on the rocks. So that's why I was kind of curious what you guys do, because for when I'm making a Manhattan, because you're putting sweet vermouth in there and you're putting bitters. I think Makers and Woodford is. I don't know,
Makers is actually more expensive than something like Four Roses.
Yeah.
Four Roses you get for like $20.
And Makers also had a big scandal where they were diluting their whiskey too. So I don't really.
Yeah, they stopped. So what happened was this, because I'm an ambassador for them. Like I have barrels that have been done down there from years ago, and I'm on another list. But when
you get a hat with that too,
you get yes, you do. Every Christmas they send you a gift. The one year they sent winter hats for your bottle. So you put a winter hat that would go over your Maker's bottle. I swear to God. So one year was earmuffs, but anyways.
Does that compensate for the water they add to their whiskey?
So what happened was that. So about 5 years ago, when more than that, when Williamsburg and Brooklyn was out of control and bourbon was becoming, so big, there was a huge shortage on bourbons. So what they decided to do for a very short period of time, they diluted their product, and they sent out a letter to everybody saying we are going to dilute the product, and it lasted about 2 weeks because it was such.
Do you blame Brooklyn for them diluting their whiskey?
So basically, no, that's the demand for bourbon got out of control because it started. There was I'll find that article. I'll send you. It was New York Times. It was hipsters in Brooklyn, and bourbon exploded after it became like all these mixology drinks and everything. It went across the country. It started in Brooklyn. Every single mixologist across the country started doing bourbon-based drinks, where for the longest time it was vodka-based drinks, were what mixologists would do. So because of that, they were going to dilute their bourbons with water. Poppy's right. But then there was such an uproar, they said, fuck it, we're not going to do it. So they didn't. They ended up at the end of the day, it was a very short period of time where it happened, but then they canceled it because so many people were like, fuck off. Like, we'd rather have a shortage of makers.
I would say if you're making Manhattan, just get a handle of Jim Beam. They're like $25.
Oh, God, no. I don't drink that.
Just saying. I mean, if you mix the sweet vermouth in there and shit.
I like Makers. Admittedly, I don't have a very high tolerance for bourbon. But I found that it's in that price range, it's smooth enough. So that Makers is usually my go-to.
Sure, I mean, it's a decent price.
Yeah, I mean, I drink it. I don't like to make mixed drinks. I like everything just straight.
Period.
I actually drink probably more whiskey and rye than I do straight bourbon.
Nice. I have a Sazerac rye, which is cheap as hell.
Yeah. Now I will make a Sazerac. I do like Sazerac drinks. The Sazerac in general. So, but I don't. Yeah, but Sazerac's ryes. I mean, all ryes are great. So
sure.
So they've been finding a bunch of whiskey recently that was like stored in people's homes from like Prohibition era, like old bottles of like Canadian. I think that one of the bigger sources during Prohibition whiskey was like Canadian whiskey, because it was obviously legal up there, and like it was a much shorter run from Canada to New England than anywhere else. But that would be super cool to be able to try some old whiskeys that were prevalent during the Prohibition era. I think that would be a lot of fun to
That'd be pretty
experiment
cool.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my grandfather passed away a few years ago, and he wasn't a drinker, but anytime, Christmas came around, somebody gave him, like, I don't know, a bottle of Canadian Club, a bottle of Seagram 7. So I had, like, maybe 10 bottles between me and my brother of these Seagram 7s and Canadian Club whiskeys from, like, the 70s and 80s.
Damn,
And
those are valuable.
Dude, we ended up drinking them. We drank them. But, I mean, they were okay. I mean, and not much of the juice was gone. There was a little weird stuff at the bottom. It didn't kill me. So it was fine. I don't know if it was I have no idea what it was.
It was probably a little bit oxygenated, or the word is. Or
yeah, it
oxidated.
wasn't mold or anything. It was something stupid. But,
I like the Whistle Pig whiskeys.
Yeah, he passed away, actually. The guy who formed... So the Whistle Pig formula was actually an American guy from Vermont who became really, really talented at going into Canada and picking barrels and blending them. And he just actually got hired by Metallica to do more and more blended whiskeys for Metallica, but he ended up passing away. I feel like I think it's Dave Pickerel. He passed away a year ago.
Metallica?
Yeah, so he was making an actual blended product for Metallica. Metallica like hired him. I think they made him like an honorary part of the band or something like that. And
Did you get a hat for that?
He got a hat for that. And I think he passed away like a year ago, unfortunately. But
So
yeah,
does-
people
I mean,
love his picks.
I know
Whistle
Metallica.
Pig secondary is like $500. Like Whistle, like the Boss Hog, which is their nicer whiskey, is extremely hard to find.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Wait, does Metallica have some kind of bourbon I don't know about?
Mhm.
I know they have a beer
It's
with.
called Back to Black or something like that. Yeah.
I think, really, I know they have a beer with Stone. I didn't know they had a bourbon as well. I have to look for it.
Are they gonna bitch when someone pirates it?
Fucking Lars Ulrich. Fuck that guy. He probably doesn't even
It's
drink.
called Blackened. Yeah, it's available
Blackened.
for sale. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm gonna have to look for that. So coming up in the future, we're thinking of doing a show of drinking games. So a little tease. Kim, what are you thinking? That was kind of your idea of maybe doing something. We might go live with some Twitter.
Yeah, so we're talking about this, and so with the most likely the shutdowns are going to happen. I mean, we're all kind of just waiting for Governor Baker and Governor Mills and all these other idiots that are running our states to start shutting down the economies and everything like that. So on Saturday nights, once a month, what we're thinking about doing is playing, Ask the Internet, the KFC Barstool game. I have a deck of those cards, and start hopefully go live once a month on Saturdays. Throw the link out so people can join us. Ask some questions, get drunk, and see what happens.
We should try to get like the drinking buddies in there, the OG guys, like not as that show, but maybe like get them in there, kind of like almost bridge it, where it's with everybody.
Yeah, I think we should, especially if this happens, what I think is going to happen, where we're going to get locked down by December. There's people are going to be sitting in their homes drinking on Saturday nights, having nothing to do.
Sure.
Once the kids are asleep and everything else. So I think hopefully it can work out, and we'll see what happens.
And quickly, before we get off, because we're getting close to time, what do you guys think of Blind Mike coming back? I know Kim's not a huge fan of Mike, so we're going to start with him. I'm going to stay. Well, I guess I'll start with me. Fucking love Mike. I think it's going to be an awesome add to the show. The reason why the show's been a little crazy, I think, and people are getting a little edgy, is that Kirk and Steve have been working their fucking asses off, probably double time than usual. So it'll be a nice break to get Mike in there and get his bullshit, and we can hear about his fencing stories. But what do you think, Kim, about it?
So it's not that I hate Mike or anything like that. It's just that Mike's laziness, just in his the fact that he was never prepared for a show or anything, just all of his excuses drove me insane. And my biggest thing has always been he was phenomenal as a third chair when they had somebody else in there, like Big Cat or KFC or Jared. He was never great, but it'll be good to have his voice in there again. There's some of my favorite episodes, obviously, where he was in there. So it's not that I hate him. It's just I always felt that he underperformed to what Kirk needed and what he wanted. But I'm glad that he's going to come back 3 days a week. One day with him, one day with Jared or somebody else. It sounds like it's going to be mostly Jared, and then a day of just Kirk and Steve, which I like those shows. I know Kirk on Friday with that legendary rant for 51 minutes, where it was, said that people are bitching. I like the Kirk and Steve shows. They're clean, they're fast, They don't go too far. They don't get into the weeds. I like it. And what Kirk said was right. I have 2 kids, and one of my kids is doing remote learning right now. The hour and a half shows are easier for me because I have less time these days from work and juggling having a kid home doing remote. I appreciate the fact that they're doing the shows the way they are. So I'm not one of the people that are bitching, but Mike coming back, it's a good thing, especially since it's only one day.
Sure. So Des, go ahead. I think Tim's bullshit. Des, go ahead. What do you think about it?
I'm excited for him to come back. I like Mike, and I think when he was on the phone a couple weeks ago, I mean, it did sound like he was much more confident, and I'm hoping this will just be an opportunity for him to. I think he's a funny guy. I think he'll do a lot better. I'm excited for him to come back. Nothing bad to say about him at all.
As long as he doesn't do any of the Justin, the intern type shit.
Yeah.
Whatever, because that's what he was doing. I feel like that stupid, whatever, sleeping for 17 hours type thing. But Shank, what do you think?
I'm excited. I think him being away, fencing and learning YouTube and all of that is going to create a lot of really good content for the show.
I love it.
And, I think so when the first time that they called him, and as he's hanging up, he gives the "I love you." And it was so perfect because there was still that, please Kirk, love me. But, he tried to sound more confident, and it was great. I'm really excited for him to come back.
Dude, and then the whole live show, when he went on, they're like, oh, it's your time to do your stand-up. And he's like, there's 2 types of, whatever. Pop, what do you think? Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Well, just real quick, and to his credit, he was actually very quick where he was like, I'm hammered right now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So, I think it'll be great to have him back.
I can't wait. Poppy, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm excited for him to come back. I think that Mike, it's hard to really accept how much Mike's life changed from being like a street teamer at EI to being like a full-blown personality where there was 150 people in Madawaska just like standing up singing along songs with the show. And he obviously, how can anybody predict that or expect it? And I'm very excited to see how Mike's changed after being able to kind of reflect on things for this long and get ready. So, if he sucks again, then it's going to be fucking like, all right, like, what are you going to do now? But at least we get to give him another shot. And that to me is interesting alone as like an experiment, So I'm excited to see what happens.
Let me ask you guys a question. Did any of you listen to his podcast, Trash Talk, when he was on EI?
Yeah.
I've listened to it afterwards, but not when it was like being
I didn't listen to it live, but I listened to it after.
So at the end, when Kirk had left EI, and there was basically 3 people that had information or were talking about it. It was MHB and DC, who I hated their podcast. Like I'll stand by that. I never got into the Minifan show. I didn't love their coverage. I always thought they were out for themselves. But I would listen to Trash Talk because Mike was the only person that said anything. So I listened to it live. He just seemed to be more prepared and more confident. He did a better job doing that than he did with Kirk. And I feel like when he went with Kirk with the big spotlight and it was his idol, he wilted. And if he can come back from this confident and be able to be a punching bag, but also, kind of give it back, I think that then this show, he'll be a great asset to the show. My biggest concern is he's just going to wilt again. So it is.
We shall see. And I'm going to reach out on Twitter to DC. I'm sorry, Matt J with his
Matt
show.
J. Sorry.
He might sponsor this. You guys think? Sponsor a beer show? No?
I think Willie G already locked that up.
All right, that's a whole other show. But guys, cheers. Another nice. We're getting that time.
Before we end.
Do it.
I'm a little concerned because Jay was supposed to come on the show today, but he had to rake a lot of leaves, and we know with his age, I'm hoping he did not have a heart attack.
All his excuses like,
I'll check on Jay.
Like, bro, it's fucking end of November. Like, are you surprised by leaves?
I don't rake anything. I just fucking leave it there. Fuck it.
Run it over with the lawnmower.
But cheers, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. This should be right before it coming up. Thank you so much for joining. Weller 12. Fuck you, Bobby. All right. Later from KMS Brews.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yes.